I am LordMaddog, and we are playing Kerbal Space Program. Last time we flew out to Eva and landed on Eva. No, Eve. Well, I flew my spacecraft, Eva, out to Eve and landed on Eve. And we now are mining Eve, getting ready to produce different things. Not quite sure exactly what we're going to produce first. Actually, yes, we need a science station out there. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to build a science station. So we're going to build a quick, simple science station for it to build once it's done building its screwdrivers, which disappeared again. The mysteriously disappearing screwdrivers happens nonstop. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do when we first off, and then after we're done with that, well, we'll go ahead and see what land on an asteroid, land on Maho. We'll do this eventually. Land on the moons of June, Lehu. Right. And land a rover. I'm just selecting these missions just because. Oh, I'm maxed out. Well, maybe I shouldn't have been doing that. Oh, well, whatever. Okay. I was trying to get a little bit more science, because you get science, but you get the money. You know. Anyway. First off, we're going to build our little science thing, and then we're going to go ahead and build a beam wall generated thing by. Let's build this real quick here. Science. So they can put a little connection piece here so they can connect to it. There we are. We'll put 3 of them on there. Alright, we're going to build a solar powered beam wall. That's what we're going to try to do. We're going to see how that works. My desire would be to actually use warp all the way to the middle of to the sun, closer to the sun, and that would be the ideal thing to do. But I don't think we're going to do that. Be able to do that. But a warp. Wow, that's big. Okay. A solar panel that generates megawatts of powers, and it's a lot cheaper than a lot cheaper than a reactor. It has its own inline system, thermal system, so you don't have to install one. That's way too big. Let's try out this thing here. Because supposed to be able to generate 1600 megawatts. Nah, 250 megawatts. We'll just start off with the no. Because the object here was to want to be able to build a satellite dish that was warpable. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's just not going to be a really usable system. And I can't test it because I don't have enough money to do so. This thing here, I don't know. Radiator. There we go. Go ahead. Then we need to use something that can relay power. At this time, I still think that this is the best. I am absolutely wrong if you want to know for later on. That is a really bad thing to use for relaying power. It's one of your first ones. Even scaling it up, it doesn't really get that much better for actual use for distance-wise. Activate receiver, and we gotta go ahead and there we are. So it is producing 36 megawatts of power, 16 megawatts of power, and that's not going to work because there is no generator available. Okay, so it doesn't need any of that. And this is activate transmitter, 7 kilowatts of power. What? Why would it only be transmitting 7 kilowatts of power? Well, that didn't work. Where's the big one? There it is. Can't scale it down any more than that. It's fine. I'm gonna try to launch it. This is just the funny part of me being stupid all the time with the Attila thingy. If you could generate enough electricity, so supposedly I could actually get it to lift off the ground. I know better than that though now. 1.4 thrust to weight ratio, that would be nice if I could actually just launch it right into space, but no. There's no way I can generate that much power. Activate receiver. Massively big satellite. Okay. So it is only generating 1 mega, 2, 3 mega, 4 mega, 5, 3 megawatts of power at that size. Ooh, hey. It did take off. Surprisingly. Okay, so we're gonna try that again. See, no, it didn't work. I thought it had to have been a bug. I didn't think that made sense for it to actually take off with only 3 kilowatts of power. 9 megawatts of power there. Yeah, it has its own thermal power generator, so yeah, that's not enough to lift me off. I was wondering how that had. So it would generate 2 kilowatts of power. I mean, shit would send out 2 kilowatts of power. Yeah. Trying to get receive from my thing up there and see if I can actually just. Oh, whoa, busted it right off. We're blowing it apart. Breaking it apart. We're receiving 13 megawatts of production power? Really? How's that possible? And gonna run out of fuel here real quick. This thing's producing 14. Because it's also receiving from the beam power. That's what's going on here. Broken. Yes, broken. Phased array. Because the object here is to make it within the size of actually being able to be shipped off to the way out to the sun. That was what the hope was. That's why I got the whole thermal setup. So, because I know if you get close to the sun, you can generate a boatload of energy with solar panels. Oh, wow, okay, spontaneous combustion. No, it actually hit something, I think. Yes, it did. Let's take this and move it up out of the way so it won't hit something. Activate. Solar power. And nothing. It's not generating any power at all. Why isn't it generating any power? No actor reactor available. It did. Waste heat mega. What? Why isn't it? It doesn't work at all. Power flow. It says it has direct energy energy flow rate. It just power capacity 16, 18. Wow, that was it'd be 18 gigajoules. I mean gigawatts if it had actually been doing that, but it just wasn't. It wasn't receiving anything for no reason. It just didn't. Looking at different things here. Provide surface area, but it doesn't actually generate any power. No, it wouldn't be generating particles. That wouldn't make any sense. Let's go ahead and put that in there because it was saying there was no reactor. This is dumb. I thought maybe it's once again having that bug with there being no reactor, even though there's a reactor, and it might be able to be actually receiving. But no, it's not actually status extending. Direct sunlight, sun exposure 1, and I should be generating some power. Well, it decided to rock away. It's a dual-sided system. So if I could get it to generate power, sadly don't seem to be able to do that though. Try out different things here. See if I can get it to generate power. I know none of the particle systems are going to work, but activate receivers. One on either side. They should be generating insane amount of energy, right? Direct sunlight, but no power. Well, if you watch this, maybe you can tell me why they're not generating any power at all. Wait, I think I just figured it out. They're set to beam power. They're not set to solar power. That's why. No. Boom. That's why they weren't receiving any power, because they were set to beam power, not solar power. I didn't even notice that. But do these things, can they generate power by themselves? Do they have it? Inline microwave phase array that can be deployed to provide more surface area. It can not be retracted once extended. Oh well. That would never work. It would instantly rip it off. But hey, it might not. Need more delta V to get into space. Theoretically, this could work here. Just launch itself. And actually gain any more delta V from having that on there. That was strange. There we go. Now that is the worst one I could have actually chose to be my projector. Like I said before, once you get beam power and get up to a certain point, you want to start using actual lasers. They have a much longer reach range for when you're doing this stuff. Oops, that was dumb. I was going to try to use that as a receiver, I see. They're also not very good receivers, if you didn't know that either. But they're simple. They're the easiest stuff to use when you first start out, that's for sure. I mean, when it... Okay. It is generating 4 megawatts of power, but not enough. I wanted to find something that could actually hold the joules, megajoules. And actually, I think it can store megajoules. But I think you have to actually activate it to actually get it to supply the megajoules. No, boom. I didn't actually activate it. I should have waited, I have to activate it and it would provide megajoules. I'm not sure how long it would provide the megajoules though. I didn't realize there's a capacitor. No reactors, try smaller reactors. At this point, it's just basically wasting time, to be honest. I'm not going to get anywhere. I don't think... I mean, it's a... I could definitely use it, produce it in space and try to launch it from... oh, I could even launch it from here, really. I could just go ahead and launch it. But I don't think I'm going to do that. Advanced tweakables turns on auto strut. You can turn on auto strut, which you don't have. So, I've learned that a little bit ago. So you don't have to continuously put struts, which actually puts up your part count really high. It really puts up your part count really high and makes more lag. So you're gonna want to use auto strut after you get into the middle of the game, or use a mod called Kerbal Joint Reinforcement, which is by far, honestly, way better. Oh, I'm gonna launch this. All right. We are launching. $31.1 ton? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's easy enough to get this into space. Whoops, a flip. Whoa, could have ripped it clean off, but we didn't. Into space we go. I used this model launch, this deploy launch for a while, I think. The 31 ton launch. It's a pretty good ton launchage, actually, when you think about it. Getting 31 ton in space takes a lot. I think total delta V actually necessary to get into space from Earth orbit is close to 8, or is it 9K? It's in that area, 8 to 9K delta V, and so, and it's got to go out of the atmosphere. So the 8 to 9K atmosphere delta V, which is really hard to obtain. If you know anything about, well, you've watched me play, you know how hard it is to get above 4K delta V in atmosphere. It takes a lot. And that's because of the fuel paradox or whatever. There's another word, scientific word for it. I've heard, I don't know what it is. And I have no idea how it's spinning around that. That doesn't make any sense, how that's staying exactly like a chicken's head stuck in the same position. I think it's just one weird physics bug there. There we go. We are landing. Stop, save, yes. So they're up 31 ton. Launch. Yes. Save profile. And I actually forgot to recover the vessel. It's fine though. It's hilarious. I forgot to recover the vessel. I'll have to recover it later. So we now have a solar powered beam wall into space. Solar powered up probe. So we go ahead and activate this. It can also be used as a relay once I get it into position too as well. So it's really pretty good. Activate receiver. We're gaining 5 megawatts of power, I think. 15 megawatts. Okay, 15 megawatts of power. We're going to go ahead and expand our orbit. Wall to beam power 5 megawatts. Deactivate that. We're going to go ahead and fly around, speed up. I'm going to increase our orbit height. I didn't go all the way out to geo orbit. I really should go all the way out to geo orbit. Oh wait, I did go out. Well, wait. Oh shoot! That's right. I sent this into orbit around the sun, which actually ends up making it more or less pretty much worthless that far out, because it doesn't have a good transmitter. I forgot about this. This thing's absolutely worthless being sent out to the sun like this, because it doesn't have a good transmitter at all. I didn't realize the importance of the transmitter at the time, and how delicate, how much it required, how the distance is, especially on different those at the beginning level frequencies. Beginning of wavelengths, microwave wavelengths. They're not that great. Alright, so we're just checking these here. Finalizing build, which was my another set of screwdrivers, because another day. 41 minutes. I'm not even sure what that is, but we'll go ahead and speed up and see what it is. It is, what is it? Ah, the relay. Yes, that does not receive energy, and I could not figure out why it would not receive any energy, even though it has a direct connection. Trying to figure out what energy wise I was getting, couldn't figure out why it wouldn't work. I thought I could use that to actually receive energy from my beam wall here. but it can't because it's way too far. See, the beam to efficiency, 0 power produced, yes. And I could not figure out why it was producing absolutely 0 power. It just absolutely infuriated me. Thought it was a bug or something. Reloaded. Still 0 power. Still 0 power. I could not understand why it was not producing any power. I decided, well, I'm going to send it into space. Well, because those things couldn't get any power, so it couldn't possibly power itself into space. So, like I said, as a general piece of advice, don't try to use any powered system at all just don't try to use any powered system to try to power your things without a backup engine on it or something, because it's just not going to work. Beam power wall, unless you spend a lot of time on it, is not a very efficient system. I mean, setup. You're just going to take too much energy and resource, money, and time to build a beam powered wall, especially at lower levels, and it's not going to be very reliable. At least that's my experience. It's never reliable. I guess that's probably what it'd be like in real life too, because I mean, the distance on right now, our current distance on being able to transmit energy is not very far. Now, however, that's not quite true. Tesla was said to be able to transmit power up to like 5 miles away with his tower, his Tesla tower, and different things. No one knows how he did it, and I believe that is on purpose that no one knows how he did it, because when investors asked him, well, how do we gain money from this? And he says, you don't. It's free electricity for everyone. And they did not like that ideal. No, investors need money from their investments. That's investments. Investors need money. So that deal did not go anywhere. And all that information about how he did it is lost in the ether, as he would call it, the ether. He referred to everything as the ether. It's pretty neat when if you ever do any checkup on Tesla. He was an interesting feller. Everyone else calls some things like black matter or quantum physics, and he would blame it on the ether. It's some pretty interesting stuff. Here I activate these. I start them refining stuff, and instantly I start them refining, and it slows down. You can't tell the difference here because it's sped up by 4 times. But yes, the game gets much slower after I activate them. Ooh, and things start to explode. Don't ask me why. I guess just because the game gets bogged down and can't process moving objects, plus that it just... So I reload before I activated them, I think. And I didn't even realize I reloaded before. Nope, I didn't. See, as I said, the game cannot handle them active. You get tons of weird stuff like that happening. The processing using, and they're not even really active yet because they don't have power to power them. Another what's it called here? Once again, I messed up and did not attach the proper thing. So now we have a big old docking bay. So we can build up even more. In real life, this would be awesome. I mean, having a base this big on Minimus would be, on the moon would be awesome. But having a base this big in game ends up causing everything to super lag out. And this is my energy receiver. And once again, I am not receiving any energy. And I cannot figure out why the heck am I not receiving energy? Can't figure it out for the life of me. I'm like, I'm connected to the relays and I'm getting 0 efficiency. 45 megawatts of power available in space. I should be receiving a boatload of energy, but nope, no luck. And that's because so switching near infrared will help me produce some power, and I think I do actually end up receiving some of it because the infrared has a longer distance traveled. Does travel a little bit longer, and that's a pretty big projector piece, but I'm not sure. Nope, still receiving 0 power. Okay, and that's because of the distance, and I did not understand that for a long time. I was super irate that I was not getting any power from it. I'm like, I should be getting power with the this connected to everything. I should be getting power, but no, I would not getting any power, so I could not activate my regolith drill. Well, that's actually generating some power. Ooh, getting a little bit of power. No, not. Then how is my reactor generating power? It must be from all of the overheating stuff going on around here. That's generating decent, that's 11 kilowatts, which is, I don't know how that's doing that. All right. I think we're pretty close to 30 minutes going on in this episode. If we're not, it would be just a little bit short. Here, I start looking into beam power because I realized that the distance was so dramatically different. I wanted to see the distance these things could project. And oh no, I actually built a receiver to actually put it on Minimus, build it and to put it on Minimus, so it'd actually be able to receive. Because I thought maybe, well, that's just not receiving. That didn't work either. Actually, you know what? I don't think I actually ever built it. Did I? I don't remember. I did. There it did. Yep. And take it off. Here we go. Set that up here. Attach. Attach. Take and assign it on top of this. Should be able to receive, I thought, and get me some power. It does have it's a bit bigger receiver. It definitely might be able to actually receive some, but no, still 0 power, and that's just because of distance. Wait, no, not actually connected. I reloaded before I built it. make sure it's on the right band here, wavelength, whatever, and turned it towards and turned it towards minimus. Oh no, I didn't reload before I sent it. So I K-band and I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up. Thermal power reconnected, and still no power produced. Almost got a megawatt worth of power. Still no power produced. Nothing from any of the wavelengths. And like I said, I did not understand the distance. I was super irate with this. I'm like, I've got my power wall up. Why is it working? There's just so much trial and error with the beam power. I don't understand why it feels so complicated, but it was, to me, it was just really complicated and it never seemed to work the way I wanted it to. And I've seen other people say stuff online that too. And it should, in my opinion, should. I know this is a really rocketed scientist type game, and we're supposed to be able to understand stuff. But for Interstellar needs to do something to make it a lot easier to understand some way or another, because it's just not. So, yeah, what was going on here is that I did not it was not anywhere near in range of the distance from it. I mean, the distance was way too great, so I was getting zero efficiency. And you wouldn't think that'd be possible with a massive big receiver and big projector like that. That's why I couldn't understand. In my wildest dreams, I didn't dream it. I didn't have enough distance. And that's what was the difference. I mean, when you got a thing that covers a couple 100 feet, you would think it'd be able to project. Because, I mean, you get a satellite, a small inky-dinky little satellite can project for a long distance. And, yeah. So I decided to build a reactor. That I was going to build there. And I do build it there, but I never actually... So it'll generate 1 megawatt, which I need to. That's what I need to power my system. So that would be enough to power everything I have going on at the base. It needed UF4 and lithium 6. I have the lithium 6 there at the base, and I thought I could mine the UF4F4. And it turned out I couldn't, and I never actually sent up never actually sent up any UF4 power energy shipment up there. So that generator sitting up there still and not being used. And here I mess with reactors and different things for a long time. It's not worth showing. Trying out different reactors, trying out bigger beam walls. It's generating 6 megawatts. It just fooling around, trying to figure out what was wrong with the beam power system. Okay. And I think we're going to call it quits here, because I never really got anywhere with this reactor. Set up beam wall, and spend a lot of time on trying to do it. Alright. And 6 megawatts. Oh, how did I get 6 megawatts up there? Alright, here I go back a second. Sorry, guys. There, I scaled that thing up and made it really big. Really big. Yeah, that's how I got that all the way up there. And still hadn't realized that it had to be, it would have been better to go to laser. So, but it worked. I eventually got power here and was able to begin my regolith miner. So 6 megawatts of power. Activate regolith miner. And this thing, I don't think I ever actually get that thing working. Because I think at that size, I think it needs like 80 megawatts of power to run, and generating 80 megawatts of power here is just not going to happen. So, and here I activate these thingies. And once again, as I said, it really just, this bogs down the game. I don't know if you can see it, but in the background, everything's already starting to go slower. As well, we have all them resources, that's why. I mean, deuterium. I was gaining deuterium. And unless you're a rocket scientist, there's no way to know what these resources do, and that's absolutely infuriating. There's just no way for me to be able to figure out what converts into what and what doesn't. What, because you have to do almost 4. You start out with one resource, then you convert it to another resource, and then you convert it to another, and then another. And so it's almost 5 processes. So that's, yeah. All right, but we're going to end there for today. Thank you for watching. What did we accomplish today? We launched a solar-powered beam wall into space. That's basically what we accomplished, and then we fooled around with our solar power system, our beam wall, and try to understand it more. I hope you guys understand it better than I did at the time. If you're going to watch, you're going to try to do it on yourself. So, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.